Our next speaker will be Renaud Adams, and I'll be moderating a fireside chat with Renaud. Renaud is president and CEO of IAMGOLD. IAMGOLD is an intermediate gold producer, producing with assets in North America and West Africa. The company is currently building the Côté gold mine, which is going to be Canada's next large-scale, long-life gold mine and will be a model for mining in Canada going forward. Renaud. Renaud, great to have you here. So, first things first, anyone who knows IAMGOLD knows you are embarking on a fantastic build right now. How is it going with Côté?
Well, I'm very, very pleased at how it's going. And I knew when we started January that we had quite a bit of a task ahead of us. We're early January, the commissioning team is ready to go. We still have about like 6,000 items on the punch list, and unbelievable work that was done. Brought that to the first gold at the end of March. And what I'm really pleased of is the 45 days that followed the first gold was really about to prove that the capacity was in place. And we all remember some other large scales commissioning, and we just didn't want to discover potentially later on. So we put a lot of effort there. I'm very pleased to know that all the major equipment, the capacity is in place, slightly less power draw. So this is working very well. Now it's all about stability and availability. And this is what we're engaged with a commercial due for Q3. We'd like to have it in the first half of the Q3, but this is where we are now.
Yeah. And remind the audience, how big is Côté?
Côté will be, well, first of all, is already the second largest gold deposit in Canada. We acquired the assets back in time at about 8 million. Allow me to pack categories here, but there's already, we know, over 20 million ounces in the ground. So that makes it the second largest. And at the time of when we ramp up, we should be the third largest gold producer as an asset at the time we ramp up, and more to come, of course. It keeps growing.
Well, it's truly a fantastic asset, a large asset, and one that is going to be a fantastic mine going forward, especially for IAMGOLD. Now, you guys just did a recent transaction. You bought back part of Sumitomo's interest. Can you talk about the rationale for that?
Well, I guess I have to link this with the previous questions. When you're sitting on the second largest gold deposit in Canada, it's built, it's ramping up. And there is no doubt in my mind, the benefit that this will bring to our current and new shareholders. And so, yes, we just completed a financing that would bring us to the finish line. The next available date for us to buy back the 10% is November, so we're set and ready to go, and that matters. We really want to start 25. We diluted our shareholders with a raise of $300 million US. We feel very strong on the value of that 10%, and of course, when you're looking at on a pure cash flow basis, it's just one. If we could have done it in May, quite frankly, but really the benefit for the shareholders starts at the commercial production. This is where we see the shift from non-cash flow positive to cash flow positive. So it made a lot of sense. The momentum was there. We had very good start of the year. We performed extremely well, did very well for our shareholder, and we're looking at the upsides and the catalysts coming up. So we thought it was just the perfect timing to bring that financing to the finish line and provide both, quite frankly, our current and new shareholders to the few catalysts coming up. Further down, this whole thing about Côté is, you're looking at the mine plan, 18 years life of mine, 7.5 million ounces in the plan, but just as I mentioned, This is only a phase 1. So everyone will be exposed to the phase 2 beyond, where we're going to be very active and bringing more ounces over the years and, in the front.
So that leads right to my next question here. Where is the upside at Côté? How much more upside is left, for investors once this goes into commercial production?
Yeah, we see in the short term a lot of upsides. I mean, the nameplate is in the short term 36,000 tons a day. We've already reached, after 40 days, and confirmed that the capacity was there. So something's telling me that we might have some upsides in the short terms in terms of capacity. There's already in the 43-101 a view that for a small investment you could move from 36 to 42. Question is, what do we really need to get to that? So a lot of organic optimizations of our processes would maybe lead in the short term. All the mineralization keeps plunging below the pit shells as well, so we're currently drilling to confirm the continuity below the pit. We feel very strong on that. So we feel that in the short term it's optimizations, unlocking more throughput. In the midterm, we'll look at potentially, is there any possibility for underground? And down the road, of course, comes the Goslings that gonna come at the back of this, or maybe a little bit earlier, that would expose our shareholders to the additional ounces. So 7.5 in the plan, sitting already on the 20 million in the ground. So there is definitely way more upsides, and he keeps drilling. I mean, the ratio, the success ratio of every hole we drill is there. So who knows how big is
well, it's fantastic. And I think it's an important point for everyone in the audience to know here that Côté is a world-class operation, and the upside here is just phenomenal.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that's Côté. What's next after Côté?
I think it would be very important that this company benefits a very high cash flow generations for a couple of years. We do have nearly $1 billion debt. So expect us, as we ramp up Côté. Westwood is doing extremely well. Essakane is doing very well after some tough times, but we're very pleased. So we're going to enter 25 with 3 mines free cash flowing. We're going to be most likely got to complete the transaction, but we'll be 70% of Côté. So we'll have 3 mines, 700,000-800,000 ounces attributable productions, all cash flowing, free cash flowing. So we'd like to significantly improve our balance sheet in the short term and go after the organic growth capacity and potential of Côté. This will be probably how our next couple of years look like.
Amazing. Well, so you mentioned Westwood. And Westwood historically has kind of struggled to make money, but last quarter it looked like things really turned around. Had a really good quarter there. Can you discuss Westwood and the turnaround there and how it fits going forward?
And I'm told that there is more to come. This is something that has 3 phases. The first phase, of course, after the past events and so forth, we were very disciplined to overpromise. And up to the end of 23 was all about proving the concept that you change a mining method, you relook at how you control seismicity, because there's still, it's not like we have eliminated seismicity, we have it under control. We have event, but the level of energy is so low that it doesn't stop or doesn't, limit us to mine. So we've been mining very successfully without events since June 20. And now 24 is about proving that with the higher grade now from the underground, that the mine is a free cash flowing. So we put, like you're saying, a very good quarter, and I think we're gonna have a very good 24. Down the road, the mine has to return as an underground alone. The satellite, the open pit satellite, eventually would, and we're very close now to the reserve grade of 10.5. So I would say 25 up to 2025, it's about proving the profitability of the mine and eventually return to an underground. But it would still be over 2,000 tons a day of extra capacity at the mill. that could be a very good opportunity for some more regional upsides. And so, of course, Côté is the whole thing about this company. Essakane is a big asset. Westwood is a smaller asset, but is in a perfect postal code. I had mentioned several times of a concept of some sort of a Quebec Inc. as well, where we could even further unlock the potential of Westwood. So we're very well aware of all those possibilities. The priority at this stage is to continue to bring back from the past those high-grade zones. There is 2 missing. We think we're going to be there by mid Q3. And from there, that point on is about extracting profitability and what will be ultimately the best scenario for an asset like Westwood to unlock the maximum value for the people, but for the asset as well. Still a bit of an unknown, but all this could only work if we bring to the finish line what we're currently doing. But I think we have de-risked it over 70% of what needed. Next for us is to put a plan to the environmental liability with some sort of progressive repair as we operate.
Well, that last quarter was a great start to this turnaround.
Very good.
Now, last asset, talk about Essakane. So it's obviously been a great asset for IAMGOLD. You know, steady cash flow producer. Again, how do you see that asset going forward, particularly given the ramp up of Côté?
Well, with Côté now, let's call 70%. So we're going to enter the year where Essakane is a big asset, produces 400,000 ounces. I've done so for the next, I don't know how many years, 6, 7 years, and continue to do so. Maybe even a better year this year. It's an asset with 5 years life of mine, but we're comfortable to say it's probably more a 6, 7, as long as you stay within the fence. And so something is very interesting now how the portfolio of the company has shifted. So you have an asset that produces 400,000 ounces, generate a huge amount of free cash flow, could be seen as in the wrong postal code, but it's less than 20%. So you buy a share of the company today, less than 20 cents a dollar goes for the Burkina. Like in terms of NAV, we'll be at 70% Côté, probably below the 17%. But I just don't see any other mines, and even in North America, that could produce that amount of ounces in free cash flow for the next 5 years, because this is a mine at the end of his life. So by definitions, capital injections, the mining goes down, the production goes up. Essakane is 20%, but has the potential to clean up the whole debt of the company within the next 5 years. So this is always the debate. I appreciate the risk is higher, but the reward cannot be reproduced in North America. So I think with an asset like this, less than 20%, that has this capacity to make this on its own, the company debt-free within the next 4 or 5 years, the temptation is probably more to continue to operate for the time being.
Yeah, it's especially in this gold environment, it's going to make so much money, you know, along with Côté coming online. You know, it really feels like you guys are going to be in a really strong position from a free cash flow basis here.
A year ago when I joined, I was telling everyone, let's wait in a year from now how this company is going to look. I can't wait for another year. I think that once you really turn the corner, you operate Côté at its full capacity. When the investment community really gets the potential beyond the ramp up, and for the first time in the last probably 10 years, having 3 mines free cash flowing, giving us all kind of opportunity to build value for the shareholders. Yes, this is where I see this company in a year from now.
And I think you're touching on this a little bit. My last question here, obviously a lot of people in the audience right now, why should someone sit in the audience right now go and buy IAMGOLD?
This is the most exciting next Canadian story in my view. Yes, there is a lot of things been built and others, and people knows me, I'm all about people and camaraderie and everyone, we're working hard. But there is something about Côté that is very unique, as I mentioned. You're ramping up the 3rd largest gold producer in Canada, 2nd largest gold deposit. but it's only one phase. So I don't recall in my 30 years of career you would spend money to build such a big asset, and on a day one, your mine plan for the next 18 years is basically only a third of your asset. So I do not see another opportunity like that in Canada for the next 5 years.
And that should really benefit shareholders here. Well, Renaud, thank you very much for this fireside chat.
Thank you.
It's great talking with you.
Thank
Cheers.
you.